Inshallah, in this class, we are going to see a few basics and formulas of vectors. Actually, what is vector? The physical quantities which have both magnitude and direction are called vectors. Okay. For example, suppose we say force, then we have to also define its direction, where the force is applying. Suppose some body is there, we have to say force is from north to east, or east to west, or west to east. So some physical quantities which requires not just magnitude but direction also. So such quantities which needs both magnitude and directions are called vectors. Examples are force, velocity, etc. On a vector is denoted by an arrow. The arrowhead gives the direction. The arrowhead gives the direction. This is called the tail of the vector. This is called the head of the vector. Now the next thing is a vector in three dimension is represented by, you see here, suppose we are having three-dimensional vector. Suppose this is x-axis, y-axis, and suppose this is z-axis. Now a vector in the x-axis direction, unit vector means magnitude is 1. In x-axis direction we denote by I. In y-axis direction we denote by j, and in z-axis direction we denote by k. So by k. So this I, j, k are the unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So vector, suppose A is denoted by ai into I, means in the direction of x-axis its magnitude is a1. In the direction of y-axis its magnitude is a2. In the direction of z-axis its magnitude a3. Where I, j, k is called I, comma j and k are called are unit vectors. Unit vectors means magnitude 1, value is 1 in x, comma y and z axis respectively. So next one is, we say the magnitude of vector. Magnitude of vector. So magnitude means length of vector. Magnitude, or we can also say length of vector. So the magnitude of vector is denoted by mod A. Means its length. Suppose this is vector. So we want to find the magnitude of the vector. So magnitude of the vector is given by under root of coefficient of I square plus coefficient of j square plus coefficient of k square, like this. A1 square plus A2 square plus A3 square. So magnitude of a vector is given by mod A equals to mod vector A equals to under root of A1 square plus A2 square plus A3 square. Suppose you see the next topic. Suppose this is the coordinate axis, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Suppose you are having a vector, suppose vector A. So angle made by the vector x with x-axis denoted by alpha, with y-axis denoted by beta, and with the z-axis denoted by gamma. Also, the angle with x-axis is given by cos inverse. Suppose vector A is axi plus ayj plus azk. So angle made by the vector with x-axis is ax by mod A. Similarly, angle with y-axis is ay by mod A, and angle with z-axis. So let me see the formulas here. Alpha, comma beta, and gamma represents angles made by a vector with x-axis, y-axis, z-axis respectively. Suppose vector A is axi plus ayj plus azk. Then the angle made by it with x-axis is alpha equals to cos inverse ax by mod A. In the same way, beta will be cos inverse ay by mod A, and gamma will be cos inverse az by mod z, mod A. Now for addition of vectors, now we are having three laws. Watch carefully. Suppose we have to add two vectors. How to add? First, let me draw the vector A having the same magnitude and same direction. Suppose here I am drawing vector A with same magnitude and same direction. Magnitude means suppose length. And now you join the tail of the vector B to the head of vector A. Tail of the vector B to the head of the vector A with same direction and magnitude. Suppose this is vector B. Now the resultant of this two is given by the third side, closing side of the triangle. Suppose you close this one, so this will give the resultant. This will give the resultant, but the direction will be opposite. Suppose we are going like this, no, from tail to head, tail to head. Now the direction will not be like this, but the direction will be in the reversed order, like this. Okay, so we join the tail of the vector second to the head of the vector A, and the resultant is given by the third side taken in the reversed order. Taken in the reversed order. Suppose let me practice like this. Suppose we are having triangle ABC. Suppose, now watch carefully. Let me make the resultant AB. So suppose this is AB is the resultant. Suppose AB. Then AB we can write AB equals to AC plus CB. AB equals to AC plus CB. So let me make this as a resultant. So AB can be written as AC plus CB. AC plus CB. Suppose you want to make the resultant as BC. Suppose you want to make the resultant as BC. So how this will become the resultant? BC equals to BA plus AC. BA plus AC. So whatever we want to make the resultant, suppose we want to make the resultant AC. So AC can be written as AB plus BC. AB plus BC. You practice this one, okay? And also if we take the same direction all the three vectors, then the resultant will be 0. Addition of taken in the same order. Suppose we take AB plus BC plus C. AB plus BC plus C all in the same direction, then the addition sum will be 0. If all the vectors, all the sides are taken in the same order, then the resultant will be 0. That is AB plus BC plus C equals to 0. For two vectors, we use the triangle of vectors. Now watch carefully. If two vectors are represented by the two sides of a triangle taken in order, then the third side taken in the reversed order gives taken in the reversed direction, the reverse order or reverse direction, okay, reverse order gives the result. Gives the result. Two vectors are represented by the two sides of a triangle taken in order, then the third side taken in reverse order gives the resultant. So let me practice this one. Practice this. Okay, make the formulas here, make the resultants here. Now, if we are having more than two vectors, we will use the vector polygon law of vectors. So watch carefully. Suppose we are having number of vectors. Suppose this is vector A taken in order, then vector B. Suppose vector C. Suppose vector D. Now we have to add all these vectors. Polygon means any number of sides. So suppose we have to add vector A plus vector B plus vector C plus vector D. So we have taken this all in the direction, in the same direction. Tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head. The resultant is given by the closing side. You close this one, this will become the resultant of this. If you close this, this will be the resultant R. But it should be taken in reversed order. We are going like this now, but the resultant order will be reversed. So this will be the resultant. So here the resultant R is given by vector A plus vector B plus vector C plus vector D. So if we are having more than two vectors, we are using polygon law of vectors. If a number of vectors are represented by the sides of a polygon taken in order, then the closing side taken in reversed order, then the closing side, you close the side taken in reversed order gives the resultant. So this is called the polygon law of vectors. So one more law is there. We'll say parallelogram law of vectors. You see here, suppose we are having two vectors represented by the adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Suppose this is the vector A and vector B. Now let me draw a parallel vector here to vector A. Suppose this is parallel to vector A, and suppose we draw parallel to this vector B. Suppose this is B, this will also be B. Now watch carefully. Suppose now how to give the resultant of this vector A and vector B is given by the diagonal from this point. Diagonal from this point. So you draw the diagonal. See here, this diagonal will give the result of A and B. Diagonal is give the diagonal gives the resultant of A and B. Watch carefully. So R will be equals to A plus B. Resultant of A and B is R equals to A plus B. Now must by heart this formula, okay? So if two vectors are represented by the adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the diagonal from this point gives the resultant. Also you see here, suppose this is A, B, C, D. We can also write like this: AC equals to AB plus BC, AB plus BC. You can say like this triangle also. The resultant AC equals to AB plus BC. In the same way, if you want to take the other diagonal, this suppose this diagonal DB. So DB will be, its formula will be AB minus AC. Sorry, AB minus BC. So one diagonal will be AB plus BC, and the other diagonal DB. Other diagonal DB will be AB minus BC. Must be add this also. Okay. So one diagonal will be sum of the adjacent sides, and the another diagonal magnitude will be sum difference of the vectors. Now let me see little about the position vector. What is position vector? Suppose we are having a point A. No vectors, we cannot just say what is point. Vector means the arrow. So when we have to define a point in the vector form, we suppose if take a reference axis. Suppose this is the reference axis, and let me take the fixed point here O. So the vector which represents the direction from, okay, direction magnitude from the point A from a reference point O. The vector which represents the point A from reference axis O, from the reference point O. Suppose this is the fixed point. So vector, actually position vector, is denoted by OA. Means this is the vector which represents the point A with respect to the reference point O. Suppose we are having point B here. So this vector is called position vector of the point B. Suppose this is OB, this is OA. Now this vector is called the AB. This vector is called AB. So we can say, if you define, you see here, what will be the resultant? OA plus AB equals to OB. Triangle law of vectors, what will be happen? OA. Just we have seen the triangle law. OA plus AB equals to OB. So bring this OA here. So we'll get the formula of AB. So AB will be OB minus OA. OB minus OA. Similarly, if you want to write CD, so first we have to write D. OD minus OC. Let me do a few examples. Suppose BC. How we have to write? We have to write BC is OC minus OB. Suppose we have to write ED. How to write? OD minus OE. So the position of a point is represented by a position vector, and the formulas used will be, suppose we have to take the vector AB, then we can write AB as OB minus OA. OB minus OA. Now what is unit vector? A vector whose magnitude is 1. A vector whose magnitude is 1 is called unit vector. Suppose we are having a vector A. So the unit vector of vector A, suppose, is defined as what's given. Suppose we are taking the unit vector. Okay. So unit vector means vector with magnitude 1. So unit vector of vector A is given by, this is denoted by A cap or A hat. The symbol is cap. A cap is vector A by mod A. Vector A by mod. We use plus or minus. Plus means same direction. Plus means same direction. And minus means opposite direction. Plus refers for same direction. Same direction. And minus refer for opposite direction. Opposite direction. So a vector whose magnitude is 1 is called unit vector. Unit vector of any vector is given by vector A by mod. Suppose we have to find the unit vector of 2A plus 3B. So what will be its formula? Plus or minus 2A plus 3B divided by its magnitude. Its magnitude mod of 2A plus 3B. Suppose the question is how to find the unit vector which is in the opposite direction of A plus B plus C. So opposite direction means we have to use minus. Vector A plus vector B by plus vector C by mod of A plus B plus C. So any vector divided by its magnitude. Any vector divided by its magnitude is called unit vector. Now condition for collinear or parallel vector. Suppose we are having two vectors, parallel vectors. Suppose A is parallel to B. So we are having a condition for parallel or collinear vectors. Suppose same vectors This is vector A, this is vector B. So condition for collinear or parallel vectors is we are having two conditions. One condition is vector A equals to some scalar number t into vector B. Okay, so this is the condition for parallel or collinear vectors is A equals to TB, where t is any scalar, t is any scalar, or we can use this formula also, A1 by B1 equals to A2 by B2 equals to A3 by B3, where vector A is this one, vector B is this one. So for collinear or parallel vectors, we can use these two conditions. Vector A equals to t into vector B, t is any number, constant, or we can use this formula also, A1 by B1 equals to A2 by B2 equals to A3 by B3. Now see the next concept. Suppose we are having three vectors or more vectors on the same plane. Suppose this is the plane. We are having three vectors. Suppose A, B, C. Okay, so vectors lying on the same plane, vectors lying, suppose this is the plane and vectors are lying on this plane, then they are called as coplanar vectors. Vectors lying on the same plane are called coplanar vectors. Now what is the condition of coplanar vectors? Suppose if A, B, C are coplanar vectors, then it's box ABC equals to 0. We will learn what is box ABC in the next field, but this is the easy method to prove the condition of coplanar vectors. Or we can use like this also, vector C equals to x into vector A plus y into vector B. Either we can write the vector, one of the vector as this form, or the box ABC, and determinant of ABC is 0, then we say as coplanar vectors. Or there is one more word for this, linearly dependent vectors. Linearly dependent vectors. Linearly dependent is also have the same condition. Either you can use this condition, or you generally we use this condition for coplanar. We will find the determinant of box ABC. If its value is 0, then we say this is the coplanar vector, or vectors are linearly dependent. Vectors are linearly dependent. But sometimes in place of three vectors, they will give 4 points. In place of three vectors, they will give 4 points. So first we have to change the points into vectors. Suppose we are having A, suppose this is B, this is C, this is D. First we have to find AB, AC, AD. Then we have to use the same condition. We have to find the value of box AB, AC, AD. Now what will be AB? AB equals to OB minus OA, and AC equals to OC minus OA, and AD equals to OD minus OA. Okay, so this, if box value is 0 for 4 points, then we say the vectors are coplanar, or any of the vector AB equals to x into x and y are the scalars, x and y are the scalars. If you can write like this form, x into AC plus y into AD, then we say that the vectors are coplanar or same linearly dependent vectors. In the same way, if the box value is not equals to 0, determined, you will see this how we have to find, we'll see in the examples questions. If you go into the questions, you'll see how we find the box ABC. Suppose if this value is not equals to 0, when you say these are the vectors which are not coplanar, non-coplanar, if the determined value is not 0, then we say these are non-coplanar vectors, are linearly independent vectors. Linearly independent vectors. If this cannot be written in the form vector C is not equals to x into vector A plus y into vector B, or if the determinant box ABC is not equals to 0, then we say these are the non-coplanar vectors or linearly independent vectors. Now for equation of line in the vectors, we are having two formulas. Suppose you have to find the vector equation of a line, or a vector equation of a line passing through the point A, and parallel to vector B. Vector equation of a line passing to the point A and parallel to B is, we do not like this. Vector equation will be R equals to A plus T into B, where T is some scalar, some number, where T is some number. So vector equation of a line passing to the point A and parallel to vector B is R equals to A plus TB. In the same way, vector equation of the line passing through the points, if we are having 2 points passing through the points A and B, passing through the 2 points A and B is given by R equals to 1 minus T into vector A plus T into B, where T is some scalar. Now vector equation of a plane. We are having three formulas for vector equation of a plane. vector equation of a plane passing through the 3 points. If 3 points are given, passing through the 3 points, then we use the formula r equals to 1 minus s minus t into vector a plus s into b plus t into c. S and t are some scalars, nothing but some scalars. If 3 points are given like this, if 2 points are given, vector equation of the plane passing through the points 2 points a comma b and parallel to vector c and parallel to vector c. 2 points are given and parallel to c, then we take out this t from here. 1 minus s into a plus sb plus tc. We take out this t from here. 1 minus s into a plus sb plus. For 3 points, this. For 2 points, this. For 1 point, one more formula. Vector equation of the plane passing through the point a, only 1 point here. Here 2 points, here 3 points. And parallel to the vectors b and c. Parallel to the vectors b and c is, you take out this s also, r equals to a plus sb plus tc. You take out s, r equals to 1 into a is a plus sb plus tc. For 3 points, one formula. For 2 points and parallel to vector c, one formula. For passing through point a and parallel to the vectors b and c, this is the third formula. Suppose we are having the position vector of OA is represented by small a and position vector of OB is represented by small b. Then the midpoint of the line AB, midpoint is given by a vector a plus vector b by 2. Midpoint of vector AB is given by vector a plus vector b by 2. And when we have to find the section, some point P, we have to use the section formula. Suppose this point is OA represented by vector A. Suppose this is OB represented by vector B. Suppose this ratio is m is to n. So when we have to find this point, we have to use the sectional formula. Point P, which divides the line AB, the ratio m is to n. Then P is given by mb plus na by m plus n. mb plus na by m plus n. In the same way, if we are having a triangle with vertices ABC, suppose this point vertex OA is represented by A. In the same way, OB, OC. Then centroid is given by vector A plus vector B plus vector C by divided by 3. So we have seen some few formulas in this chapter regarding to the addition of vectors and parallel vectors or collinear vectors or coplanar vectors. And we have seen the two formulas for vector equation of the line and three formulas for vector equation of the plane. We are just now seeing what is the formula for midpoint and sectional formula to find any point on a line which divides the line the ratio m is to n. And we have seen this formulas for centroid, also magnitude of a vector. So in the next class, let me see how we have to see the product of the vectors. Okay, so if you are understanding this and these videos, if these are helpful for you, then I request all you to subscribe this, share this. Inshallah, we are going to continue in the next class.